Greetings, travelers! So today we're starting a new tutorial series for Hardcore Questing Mode, or HQM. Quite honestly, if you're making a mod pack and you're not wanting just a list of a bunch of different mods and you want something with more content, more interest, it's one of the leading mods for adding a quest system in the game. Most commonly people use it as a tutorial guide, but it is so much more than that if you take the time to set it up. This series is going to cover a lot of the basics that everybody needs to know. It's going to cover some of the newer functions in some of the more recent updates. A lot of the videos I've seen are regarding some of the earlier versions of HQM, and it has changed significantly. There are a number of different mods that allow for questing. Some examples are custom NPCs. There's a lore mod that's actually intended to also work as a companion to Hardcore Quest Mode. But let's go ahead and get started with the basics. So the first thing you'll notice when you log in is this notice here. This server doesn't have Hardcore Questing Mode enabled. This is a dual purpose, because by default, even if you have the config set, a lot of times you have to initialize by typing HQM quest. If it is active, you'll simply get that it's already activated. The other reason for that notice is that Hardcore Mode, which is for HQM different than the hardcore mode of Minecraft, is not activated. Now, you're not necessarily going to want to use hardcore mode. If you're making a map where you want to limit the number of lives that a player has, give them, make it more difficult, then you would use the hardcore mode. But for the most part, you could leave it as survival and still use the book as a companion to what it is you want to lead the players through. Now, the first time you open it up, if you don't see this, these two things here and this over here, you're not ready to create any HQM quests. So the things that you'll have to keep in mind is when you first start up HQM, the first two files created in a folder for HQM are edit mode and HQM mode. Edit mode is simply to turn on and off edit mode. When you go to release a pack, make sure you change that back to false. And I'll show you real quick. This is all that's in there. Just make sure that this is set to false before you send out your pack, because that can cause problems with players trying to play the pack. Don't want to lose that. So the other one is the config, and that's the one where it sets up where you want to auto start hardcore, auto start questing, number of lives, and you just go through it and kind of take a look at everything that's in there. But that's, an important file there. After you create your first quest and you get save, these two additional files will be created. This is basically where it stores all the different quests that you create, any edits, everything. Now, the other important part is, obviously you can see it's got the default logo. There's nothing here text. There's just nothing. So after, if you want to add your own custom logo, that's going to be called front, and it needs to be a ping file. And lore, which is OGG, lore will play when you're on the front page. The first time they open the book, that's what will play while the description is displayed. So some of the other blocks that are in here, and the tab has just got the book. So you have your different hearts. Depending on how you want it. If you want to do the hardcore mode, that's where you would use the hearts to reward players. They have extra lives. And obviously with the quarter, half, and 3/4, that's how you can, have them earn additional hearts. Give them a full heart, trick them, give them a rotten heart. This is where you can pull the reward bags to set them up for quest rewards. This is just an item that they added recently so that when you update a mod pack, sometimes items change. and that is used to tag in the book any items that have changed that the book doesn't recognize. It'll tag it as that, so that way it doesn't crash the book or cause other issues. Now, three of the other blocks that are included. One is the quest delivery system. That's what allows you to send items from the world to the book without having to submit them in the book. That comes in handy when you want to set a goal that maybe has several thousand or several hundred items to turn in. You can just set up a real basic hopper system, and it'll, once you sync the quest to the block, you can submit it. There's a quest tracking system, which just allows you to set up for tracking when a quest is either active or not active. It's basically like a redstone block. And then the quest gate system, which you can sync to quests so that if you have, say, a cave you don't want them to enter right away, you can use this as the cave entrance, and that will keep players from getting in until such time as they've gotten to the quest that they're supposed to be on in order to go in there. Alright, so in the book, so we'll go ahead and click to start. Now the main page here, most of you are already familiar with it. The things that you can edit while you're in here as an editor is the reward bags. That'll let you set up the different tiers, and you can rename these, do whatever you want. You can set a new group tier, so if you want to have more than just the 6, you can create the reward groups. So if you do this, create a dupe. Okay, so this is the playing group. Basically would set up whatever bags you want in there. You can change what group it's associated to. This is just so that you have those random bags. And we'll cover those in a later tutorial. And when you go here, you'll see it's blank, but this is where all the quests will be. So you can do things like create. That'll create a set. And depending on your settings, it may or may not display. But once you have it, you select it. Now what I do when I'm creating these in a new group, even if it's going to be one that's invisible, I will automatically create one new quest without doing anything. That way it shows up and it's easier to see in the list. And then as you've seen, here is the quest area where you can set up all the different quests. And we'll cover these as we add new quests to this, because we're going to walk through some basic quests, some of the settings on them, what they do. Always remember, and I can't stress this enough, save often, save frequently, save as many times as you can remember. Any changes you make are not saved to the DAT file that shows up here until you hit this. So you spend an hour working on quest, getting it to be the most beautiful object in the world, and then exit and quit, and you haven't hit this, you have just lost everything. So keep that in mind as you're creating quests. Alright, so some of the basic features you can do in here. So, alright, let's say you decided you didn't want to do this quest set. You hit delete. Now pay attention. Everything you click on that can be removed will be removed. So after you remove something like so, you're going to want, well, the first one you can, make sure to go back and click the cursor. So let's just say we do create, and we go here, and we'll create another quest. And we'll go here, and we'll create another quest. Just to show you. Alright, so you go in here and you decide, oh, this quest set I don't want anymore. So you will have to go in here, delete the quest, back out, and then you can delete everything else. Alright? So now, we're going to go back to the beginning here, show quests, and this keeps a running tally for you. Well, we're going to go ahead and click show quests, and we're going to set up the first one so that once you have these here, now we can start changing. So this one we're going to go tutorial quest 1, and then we're going to change the description. Alright, so now you have this, and you can tell that that's, oh, let's go back here. Remember, always hit the cursor. Go here, you'll see there's nothing there. And see, this is where you got to make sure you're clicked on. See, I was clicked on too without realizing it, and set the description over here. But that's an easy fix. So we go here, we do this, we copy all, clear. Go back up to here, clear and paste. Ta-da! We're all fixed. So now we go into the tutorial quest section here. We have our one quest. Now some of the features you can do on these quests. Maybe you put a quest here, you don't want it there. Rather than delete it, you can simply move it. You just click this, and it'll let you move it all over the map. Okay? Very basic. Quest requirements. Now we'll get into more advanced on there, but basically is one of the methods for determining when a quest becomes available for the players as they're going through the quest book. Change size. So it has no function other than visual. So let's say you have several groups of quests in here, but you have one quest in a particular group that is the main one. One way you can mark that is by the size and make it larger, so now it stands out. That makes it look like it's important that it's an initial quest. If you want to change the icon, because obviously by default they're blank, you use this here, click on it, and if you don't already have it in your inventory, you can search. So let's do, let's just look for a bucket. And that'll change that. Set repeatability. Now by default, the quests, once you complete, they're done. But let's say you have a quest that you want them to be able to do over and over. So you click repeatability, click on it, and you have not repeatable. You have instant repeat, so as soon as they complete it, they can do it again. Interval. And this is, so you can say, as it says here, Minecraft days and hours. And keep in mind, time-wise, a full Minecraft day, which includes day and night, is 20 minutes. So if you want to do just one Minecraft day, you just do one. If you want half a Minecraft day, you can do 10 hours or 12 hours, which would be about 10 minutes. If you want to do, go from there depending on how long you want it to do it. Cooldown, this tells you how many Minecraft days before when the cooldown ends, you can complete the quest again. Major difference, this one just resets and repeats the quest, whether they've done it or not. This one is after they've completed it, how long before they can do it again. So those are the options there. So we'll leave it as not repeatable for now. Trigger quests. So if you have, as by default it's normal quest. Trigger quests, if you want to do it, no, they don't see the quest until certain tasks have been completed. So inside the quest, you can set however many tasks you want. When a certain task, so like say a location is reached, the quest will show up. The trigger quest, in other words, when it's the linked quest. So you can link quests, which that's something we haven't covered entirely yet. We will in a minute. When that quest is completed, then this one will show up and be available to the player. You can also set it that specific tasks inside the quest. The player won't know about the task, so you'll want to make it something that's most likely going to happen. Like another quest gives them a item, and that item then is detected, completes one of the tasks, at which point now it triggers for that quest to show up. And then reverse trigger, it's invisible until it's enabled. And then that way you can have the quest line appear, like it says, when a known quest is completed. And then of course back to normal quest. Required parents. So when you click on this, all parent quests have to be completed. So you can set it up so when you link this quest to other quests, all of them have to be completed. You can have it set to, if you have say 6 quests that are completed, you can have 3 of them complete and this quest then shows up. Okay, now select quest. So what this is just so while you're working on quests, if you have, say, the quest gate system, this is so you can tag the quest so that while you're in edit mode, you can go and mark the blocks in order to be required for completion, which we'll cover a little more. Quest options is if you have, like, if we do the two options here, we link these two. If you complete one, the other one becomes invisible and unable to be completed, or vice versa. So whichever one is completed first, the other one becomes invisible. Change set. So there's going to be times where maybe you have some quests set up here, you have all the links, you have all the parents, but you want it to be what opens up another section. So you would come back here, use the target set to change which set of quests that you want it to go to. Then when you're inside there, you would use this to move that quest to that set. That will allow you to link this quest to, say, others in here to be open and completable, but it moves it to another group so that that group stays locked and closed until this one is done. Or maybe you have other quests that group's open, but this one stays hidden in that group until this is complete. You know, the requirements in this page are done, which we'll cover some more of those in detail in a future episode. But that pretty much covers the basics. I mean, anything beyond this, we're going to start getting into actual quest creation. And as you can see, we got to save, so we'll save it so we'll keep where we're at right now. But not sure how many parts this tutorial is going to be. Probably 3 or 4. Depends on how in-depth we get, what kind of questions I get in the meantime. But I do want to thank everybody for showing up, and hope this is going to help. And like I said, this will be a new series with several episodes to kind of cover some of the basics. And you guys have a great day.